That's right, everybody. Welcome in. This is the Trades Podcast. I am Danny.
And I'm Jeff. What an exciting late morning we've got going here, depending on where you're at in the country.
Yes,
Trevor, welcome.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
yes, the one and only. We got Trevor with TW Craftsmen. And Trevor, let everybody know where you're coming from, where you're recording from, because we love technology and we're trying some new things out here today. So we're glad to one catch you online and get you in your realm of the world. But let everybody know where you're at, who you are in the business.
Absolutely. So Trevor Wegner, my company is TW Craftsmen, and I'm in ranging from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. So I'm up in the Midwest. I'm a custom deck builder up here. Um, just really happy great to be on the show with you guys. I've been following you a little bit here, and you guys do some cool stuff. So it's really an honor to be a part of this, and yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, us too. I mean, we're always looking to specifically even grow within the deck building side of things because I know that's some experience that Jeff had fallen into in his career with construction and his business that he's now sold and moving on from. So it's always good to run touch base with the industry that we're pretty familiar with.
Yeah.
Right.
So, Trevor, how do we meet? Do we meet through your membership on Nadra?
We met through LinkedIn, started messaging each
LinkedIn.
other. Yeah, that's where I think I made a post and you commented about it, and then we started messaging about a couple of things and
Okay,
went from
yeah,
there.
that's right.
Hmm.
So, I don't know if you remember Nadra, but we're going to give them a plug.
Uh,
North American Deck and Railing Association. I've been a member for 18 years. Um, Deck and Pool Expo this fall in Las Vegas. Award ceremony in Clearwater, Florida, uh, 1st of January. Great organization.
I signed up for Nadra about a month ago now, so I'm a member now, and
Okay, very
yeah,
good.
it's a great program.
Yeah. So you got any deck projects coming up that are gonna put your hat in the game for an award?
I don't know. Some of those projects are pretty crazy on there. I've got a couple really big ones there's some pools going in this summer that I'll be doing this fall that are going to turn out really nice. One should have a big louvered pergola over the top of it too. So that one might be worth it, but we'll see where it ends up.
Well, I would recommend it. I've judged it twice.
Yeah,
All the judging's done online. I've seen some absolutely crazy, amazing projects go through there, but they got different levels. 2,500 or 25,000 in one part of the country might be completely different than a $25,000 deck in another part of the country. So
absolutely.
I'll recommend you throw yourself in the hat, and you might not win first place, but they do second and thirds. All those start adding up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, and these projects that you're working on right now, where did it all begin? What was your background before getting into the decks and or even as leading up to it? What was the little exposure that kind of opened your mind up to getting into the deck building side of things?
Right, right. So I'm back when I went to college and I got a degree. It was not for anything construction related. I was actually in the natural resource management field, and that did not go my way. I went towards the construction industry, started framing houses and subbing underneath for jobs, and then I ended up working for a custom home builder here in Sioux Falls for a few years, and I learned a ton from him. He's a great builder, and then I kind of hit a point where I kind of wanted something more, I guess, and to pursue my own thing. And the deck world kind of just stood out to me because I could be outside for one all day long and see a project come together. And I just enjoyed that aspect of it.
Awesome. Have you keep busy all winter, or does that really affect you?
Um, I do. It's kind of subject to my choice on that. I can put we got a lot of freezing up here, so we're if I can put footings in the fall and work all the way through the winter, and I have been doing that. It definitely slows you down with getting a bunch of snow and having to accommodate for it, but I do work through the winter. Yeah.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
So, California boy like me probably wouldn't want to.
Well, it's not so bad. It's only -40 wind chills.
Yeah,
Turn the heater on right
that's
now.
yeah. Yeah, that's definitely, just different scenarios. I mean, different one geographical, like, I don't know if you would call it an obstacle, but just something that you're used to that you have to get through, and just something that other people out there that may hear this, especially within the deck building world, just totally different climates, totally different grounds. It could be hitting clay, it could be
Right.
hitting some, different style, different sediment that are down there. What are some of those challenges that you've seen through those winter times? I mean, what's something people look into?
Absolutely. Some of it's just a lot of more pre-planning. So I'm getting footings in October on a project that I might be working on in February, if I am going to work through the winter. And so that comes into play there, where getting a homeowner to go ahead with the project at that point, and then just also covering all material because I'm getting snowed on overnight, trying to keep material from just getting froze up. Tools are You're breaking tools constantly, and I have assessed it a little bit where when is it worth it to work that day, when is it worth it to do more in office work style things, and so that's been a learning process. This last winter we had a really nice winter, and I did our local home show. So I did some inside stuff here. So I missed out on some really nice days where I could have been outside on a job where I was doing that. But good trade off because it's good marketing too. So there's
Hmm.
a lot of pre planning, I would say.
Do
Nice.
you find the customers are accommodating to, like you said, you had to put in your footings in October to really start the job after that several months later?
They really have been. I mean, up here with us having full 4 seasons, I feel like that summer time frame they want to utilize their deck and their outdoor space. So if you hit that fall time, they're more than happy to have you do that, put your footings in, get prepped, and so that that's ready to go for the next summer, so they can fully enjoy versus working on their deck during
Mhm.
the time they want to be using it. So,
Okay, so it's ready to go in spring
right, exactly.
because you started early on it.
Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah,
That's great. I mean, that's got to create like obviously a long-term relationship of, one back and forth communications and trust, really, because, I imagine clients are putting down some sort of heavy deposit just to even get that work done, and then, they're looking for a reputable company like yours to take on these projects and know that you will be coming back in February.
right. And that's kind of a big thing I try to focus my business on is the relationship side of it. I do a lot of coffee sit downs with people, which is to me better than getting to know a customer and on a personal level. You can get to know what they want out of their project better that way too, like what their desires are for their space. But yeah, it's definitely about a relationship building because they are putting down a substantial amount of money to then have you come back 6 months later, which word of mouth has been a huge advocate for me for that, for people to trust me, but getting to know them on a personal level. I've become friends with a lot of my clients actually.
Hmm. That's huge.
Very good.
Yeah.
So you've got a background that a lot of us don't really hear about anymore, Trevor. Can you tell us a little bit about that, how growing up?
Yes, yes. I grew up on a small farm, south central Minnesota. So it there was a lot of days. It's a sun up to sunset mindset, I guess. So I think from the background of farming, there's this work ethic, and people seem to recognize that too in the area. If you have, because I've heard it from employers over the years before I started my own business was they hear you're a farm kid, you don't even have to interview. It's like they know you're going to work hard. So
Mhm.
that's been something that has drawn people to me. I think too,
Nice.
I would say you can trust word of or trust their word versus like, and I have contracts and everything, but like a handshake up here is still valuable, I would say, to some.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, the soft skills, something that we've always talked about is just, your the way you come off and what your experience is great, and the way you communicate with people, and um, the that first impression, the approach of meeting the clients and getting to know them, and just and implementing your background and where you come from into your business or even into a job, if you're an apprentice working with the company, it just goes a long way because they know that they're just not another number. And you, with your work ethic that you've built over the years of working on the farm, I mean, that's no easy job either.
Oh no, no, lots of rock picking out there, out in the fields. But it was good for me.
Yeah. Was that a family farm? Was that like a family business?
Yeah, family farm. I believe it's a 100-year farm. It's like fourth generation. It's my parents are still there now. Don't know where that'll go. It's the smaller farms have definitely started to die out. I'm sure everybody's heard that, but it's yeah, family farm.
Yeah. If we didn't have this podcast, I think it probably would be in that realm of our the the work industries that are diminishing within the U.S. And
Yes.
this is one of them right here, the trades. And
Mm-hmm.
right now, with your company, what are the main jobs that you guys are working on and maybe looking into wanting to tackle on more of in the future?
Right, right. Right now, I do a lot of work with existing homeowners versus with builders so they've already got a deck that they has is no longer safe. It's just they don't like the look of it. People are going that direction of, I mean, you guys talk about it all the time, but you know, or different composite decking and
Hmm.
materials that are going to last, and so I'm that's primarily what I do is composite decking, aluminum powder coated railing, uh, and now we're getting into more of the framing itself, which I think is great because you put all this work into a deck on top of a wood frame that eventually rots. Well, then that's kind of people are
Yeah.
seeing the value in that investment for long term.
So you're
Hmm.
doing some steel framing decks now.
I am. Yep. Yep. I think this area is catching up with where some of the other parts of the country where it's been known about for a little bit longer, but people are realizing the value in that.
Hmm.
I was curious. You start carrying a steel joist at 20-degree weather. You have to wear gloves, don't you, or your hand sticks to the beam?
Yep, you got to wear gloves for that. Unfortunately,
Yeah, but the lifetime span of that steel framing though is 4 times as much as a wood frame.
absolutely. Yeah, you should only you should be able to never have to touch it again. That's the idea.
Yeah, I mean, for my company, we did. I joined Nodra because we were rebuilding decks,
Hmm.
not so much design build like you were doing. We were rebuilding rotted decks, and we did our best to prep them and make them last longer. But with the composites coming out, you can't make a wood frame deck last 25, 30 years like the composites are. So
And that's what I'm trying to I try to get across to people just because I mean you do have a price increase, right? And that's a thing, but as long as you can educate them on what uh, that that longevity, they seem to understand it then.
absolutely, we've had Philip Purdy from Colorado Springs on. He only builds with steel decking Fortress.
Yeah, he'd be like the main deck builder I look up to. He's a great great guy. I met him once, and he's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, a lot of pioneers within the deck building space have, expressed those needs and wants for specific climates and areas of, what clients or what they want to offer. One, because they know it's ultimately sometimes either better, but also, then you have the preference side of the clients where they're like, no, wood is everything. I want wood, and that's all I want. And it's all about that education, I imagine. So, like you said, you're sitting down with clients and doing coffee sits downs. What does that look like? What if someone were to reach out to you, or if you're training an apprentice or a salesperson to be on your team? What are you telling them that needs to happen during those coffee sit downs?
I'm just trying to be as transparent as I can with people. Let them get to know me too. That I am trying to give them what's best for them, because when you have a cost increase, people are like, "Are you upselling everything just to get a profit?" But I am trying to relay that I'm trying to do it for your benefit, so that you don't have to fix it again. But yeah, get to know them on a personal level, like when you're talking with a client. So uh, yeah, and sitting down, physically going to their location, talking through with them, trying to listen to their needs. That's the main thing. Not just talk at them, but listen to them.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I imagine that's huge. I mean, and I'm in an area of the service industry as also, and you're sometimes you'll sit with clients, and there's sometimes maybe just a little bit more information needed, that kind of goes beyond, your project and what service you're going to provide. But it goes a long way when you're sitting there and you have a chance to, one, they feel like you're listening, and you're actually speaking to them with love and just, the type of, compassion that, that you're going to be in their house for the next few months. You're going
Mm-hmm.
to be visiting, and it's like they're going to feel comfortable ultimately with you being there.
Absolutely, and that has been a big learning curve for me, because sometimes I can just spew a bunch of information, and not everybody wants to hear that. They get this deer in the headlights look, but because I'm not naturally a salesman, that's my least favorite part of the job. I like being on the job and doing the work, but yeah, it's been good for me to learn that side of things, of what people what they need to know, even if they don't think they need to know it, and what parts could I not bring up too for them.
Hmm. Yeah, and you were talking about those pros and cons a little bit of, just the education piece for these clients, and ultimately what they do, what they want, and what you may suggest. Is it a big difference on whether they were going to use steel versus wood in in South Dakota right there?
As far as just the value of them doing the using steel versus wood.
Yeah, yeah. One, I think we talked about the longevity side of things, but right now, some folks may not have either the means or the money or certain things like that. But what would you tell them in that sense of, why you would want to go versus the other, or
Right,
steel
right.
or wood? Yeah.
And as far as the means, like I've got people that I am doing a project on this year that I talked to 2 years ago, right? And I'm still a young company, but it could be from a planning standpoint of, maybe that's not the best this year, but if it is the best long term, we look a couple years down the road for doing steel versus wood. And some people, they want to use wood, and that's okay. I still will build with it if that's their desire. Um, and that's their decision. I don't want to make that for them either. So I try to leave that up to them, if that's their preference.
Hmm. Yeah, that's huge. And I mean, South Dakota, you know, uh, on average, would you say a lot of those houses out there do have decks? Is it a big decking industry in that area of where you're living?
Yes, there's a ton of decks. I mean, we're getting a lot. We're getting a few more houses out here, but I would say 90% of houses have decks out here. So there's
Nice.
And this community is growing like crazy. Sioux Falls area it's really taken off. We've got two major interstates coming through, and we're just constantly growing. So it's a good place to be from a business standpoint.
Let me ask you, Trevor, from a building standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
are people building decks because of the backyards on a hill for terrain expansion, so you can't utilize your backyard as much because uh, it's too steep or whatever to flatten out for a grassy area, as opposed to like in Colorado Springs where Philip lives. It's very slight rolling hills from what I've seen, but everybody wants to sit on their deck to look at Pikes Peak, which is
Right.
a monumental view from everybody. Even the builders build their houses so
Mm-hmm.
that they have views of the Pikes Peak.
Right, right, absolutely. So, I mean, we do have flat areas here, but there's quite a few walkout houses where it is on a slope. So you got your patio door below, and naturally you have your deck above that people are coming out on their main living level to enjoy. So that's it's generally due to the topography in this area.
Okay. Does that bring you any challenges with uh, big footings or getting engineering on that?
It does, yeah. There's quite a few that are doing covered porches now, or they so that they've got a roof over top, and bigger footings is definitely. I'm putting in some 2 foot diameter footings in locations because people we're seeing more less posts is more, so bigger beam spans to accommodate views is a big thing right now. So a lot bigger footings and getting engineering done on these projects. So it's not just a standard 10 by 12 deck anymore. And that industry, the outdoor space has taken off where people realize how much they like being out there. I think COVID had a lot to do with that, where they don't want to be stuck in their house.
100%. Yeah, COVID changed it for a lot of industries.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Do
And
you
right
find
now,
your work environment
yeah.
um, can be unsafe because of where you're at?
I think, well, I mean, you got the weather, so you got ice that you really got to be careful on and just kind of be mindful of that. And frostbite for that matter, you got to be smart there. I mean, from that weather standpoint. Um, as far as unsafe otherwise, just trying to be smart, not trying to not trying to jump from choice to choice per se, things like that. Just for standard regular things that anybody that's on a construction project should be thinking of.
Okay. Still using like beam lifts to
Right,
push
right. I
them
have a
down?
material lift that I use for like the big beams and
Okay.
scaffolding that I'll put up to work off of, so that you're not standing with 1 foot on the ladder, having the ladder go out from underneath you. So,
Mhm.
You still see that though. People
oh yeah,
showing up job sites and they're ratcheting the big beam up the steps of the ladder. It's like,
yeah.
hey, get it done attitude, but you know,
Not a
sometimes
long
those can
term.
be life-changing events.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, there can be a lot that can go wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, with all your experience, Trevor, I mean, one from, you know, working on the family farm and building up that work ethic, and now with your, your full-time, business of building decks and really building houses, framing that you said that you're diving into a little bit right now. Um, and with the trades podcast, where we want to help guide anybody that might be looking into the trades and kind of go based off of your experience of how you got to where you are. What kind of skills would you think a young adult would need to get one into the industry and really succeed?
Right. I think the biggest thing is trying, doing it, trying it. Not, I mean, There's a ton of stuff online you can watch, but you're not, until you actually use the tools and you try things, you're not, that's how you learn by failure, essentially. Like our greatest learning processes to me are the mistakes we make. So I kind of live by that, I guess, the quote of like, I don't fail, I learn. So I would say, like, get, pursue, and if you have any interest in, even maybe you won't like doing being an electrician or a plumber, but take a class that you can learn about it to see if you don't like it, but you might really love it. And
Mhm.
I think that's a good mindset to go at things.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And like you mentioned, like going out to a class or trying it out there in South Dakota in your area, what type of resources are there out there for people to kind of get more exposed to it?
Right. So we've got a tech school in town here that has a lot of those programs where you can get a 2 year education with the different trades. There is about a half hour away. There's another town that has another college that they're big in like the lineman industry, so they have opportunities there. There's the high schools here are really taking off with starting to offer more options for students to. I mean, their classes, they're building a house over the course of a year, so kids are starting to get that exposure during high school, um, that they can then make that decision to pursue or not to pursue a career in that. And I think that's the biggest thing is having those resources available to the young adults out there to just know that that opportunity is there, and that's going to help our industry. I mean, I think the trades has for the longest time been looked down on as a less of career, but that's switching now. Everybody's realized you can't, like, it takes people to build buildings. You can't do it with technology. So,
Yep.
and that is totally that switch is happening. We've got a labor shortage, and I think that it's being promoted more. So definitely seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, you made a great point right there too, where, robots, technology, as advanced as it has been, moving in the past couple of decades, it's amazing. But at the same time, what does everybody, at least within the U.S., hopefully, dream of having of home? And when you have a home, who's going to fix those items? Who's going to help you repair those items? I imagine you working within the construction space already. Um, you've been able to fix things around your personal home or your family's home, the farm, uh, with at a less of a cost because you have that skill set.
Oh yeah, I would say I very much try to do things myself before I call somebody. I've started to, time is a factor a little bit with me with the business now, but like, I don't know. There is something to be said about you fix something, it didn't cost you as much money, and you stand back and like, yeah, I did that. I can handle
Mhm.
that, and the more you get into that mindset of to try it, the more things you're going to accomplish.
Mhm. Yeah.
Absolutely, the self-satisfaction of learning or fixing something yourself goes a long way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. And I'm sure you're driving around town and, whether you have kids or, just family that you might be driving around also, and you showing them like, hey, I built that, I helped build that house, I was a part of that project, that fulfillment is huge.
It is. I do that at every project I go by. I kind of give it a second glance. Yep, that looks good. Happy with it. Because when I'm done with a project, I want to step back and be like, okay, I'm happy with the look. I would want that on my house, and
Hmm.
that to me is where I meet the my own standards so that I can then present it to a homeowner. But my dad, growing up, he's commercial HVAC. He farmed and then did commercial HVAC, and we would go to stores. He would take us half hour away. Hey, I put that spiral ductwork up. And that was, yep, I totally get that satisfaction.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he'll probably still remember those projects, versus other memories out there too.
Yes, he does. He does.
That's cool. That's cool. It's always a great thing, when you hear that. And Jeff's absolutely expressed that for himself here around San Diego. certain projects that he's worked on, and just that fulfillment is everything. I think that's what a lot of the job industry and specific trades industry can absolutely bring, is like that camaraderie of,
Mhm.
one, you're working not just with your team specifically that might be building the deck, but there might be someone else on the project too, repairing something or installing some lighting while you're doing some finishing touches. Whether you're doing that or someone else is doing that, it's always a collaborative effort, and it has to be a team aspect.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. When you build something great or monumental, you become part of that legacy.
Yes, absolutely. I do a lot of projects with landscapers, and there's a lot of that coordination, and it's really cool to see everybody work around each other's schedules and make a plan, and it's just it's a team. It's definitely a team thing.
Yeah, and there was one thing that I think we kind of were able to kind of touch base a little bit with our previous recording with CEO Warrior, in regards to like the benefits. There's and I see it as like a deck. I can see it as deck building, like a health benefit. For working in the trades. One, you're outside. You're
Mhm.
not seeing, the communication aspect is already there, where you're being able to speak with different homeowners, hear different backgrounds and stories. But what health benefits do you see that you are benefiting it, whether it's physical or mental, through the trades? What do you see those benefits come out of?
I would say, well, I definitely don't need a gym membership because I physically get a lot of work in, but mentally too, just to see a project completed. There's a different stress level when you are building something versus per se work stress in an office, I would say, but and everything has different stresses, but I I see the benefits of fulfillment mentally there when with being in this industry. Um, yeah, physically it's been good. Um, yeah, I think there's you got to know your limits though too, right? Because you could work until you fall down, and that's been a little bit of a learning process for me. It's being like learning to stop and just not that sun up to sundown thing is something that's a learning process for me. So
Absolutely, yeah. But you have to be in control of the business, not let the business take control of you.
yes, exactly.
Nice. Well, great. I mean, and you're TW, a craftsman, and you're focused in the deck building, but of course you touch base on other projects and stuff. But for those deck builders or deck businesses out there, maybe they're thinking about getting into the industry, or looking to advance, or even just maybe get an insight of what your industry and your geographical area is going through. Any tips that you'd want to provide? Any tips or advice?
I would I would say just keep trying to get better always, and continued education. Go to trainings. Try to learn. Like join Nadra, right? Like I just joined, but like there is the if we all get better, every all the work is going to get better. When we have a subpar attitude, well, then the work is going to be subpar. So just keep trying to grow yourself, and that's going to shine through from a business standpoint, from a personal life standpoint. Like I think everybody should always try to make themselves better, and that so working with stuff in the shop, practicing ideas, like think outside the box is something that I was taught by the home builder I used to work for, and that's been a huge thing for me where not everything is going to be cookie cutter by the how it would show up on the computer. Just like you got to think outside the box, and you can really come up with more efficient ways to do things. That's how some of these decks that look amazing have been built. Is that mindset?
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's great.
absolutely. As an example, it's probably really hard to go in and design and build a curved deck, as an example, if you've never learned how to curve a deck board.
Right. Right. But you're not going to learn that unless you try it. So
You're gonna have to
I have
go through
not gotten to actually do a curved deck yet, just from clients haven't selected it, but it's one of those goals that I want to do. It's I've been at a training where we've done it. I just haven't it hasn't come up yet, but it'll happen down the road, and I'll be really excited to be a part of a project like that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah, no, I mean it's been great to just one learn more about your area, the that there in South Dakota, and you're in Sioux Falls, right?
Yep, that's correct. Yeah.
Right, and I always try not to say the X, and
Yeah. Yep. X silent. Sioux Falls. Yep. Yeah.
No, it's exciting. One, again, technology is amazing how, just a simple forum online, LinkedIn can get us all connected. And I think I encourage that to anybody out there within their industry, specifically the trades, of learning more about other areas of the country because one, we may be going through the same exact thing or something just a little bit different that we can help each other out with. So I'm glad that you and Jeff were able to get connected, and you were able to learn more about you, your business, and South Dakota out there. So it's great.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys, asking me to be a part of this and come on and talk to you a little bit today about my area that I work in. It's really, really enjoyed it.
No, really
Cool.
appreciate you coming on, Trevor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, give yourself a shout out. Where can we find you if there's someone out there that was listening to this in your area or looking to move to your area and say, hey, I'm a deck builder and I want to join a team, or just learn more about projects that you can work on and help them out with. Where can we find you? Where do we reach out?
All right. Trevor Wegner, TW Craftsmen. I'm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I service the southeastern part of South Dakota and can branch into Minnesota, Iowa, Nebraska. I'm in that corner of the world where we've got 4 states coming together. It's a really growing community. There's a ton of work out there. Um, if you need a deck built, looking for a permanent deck that you don't have to do again, you can reach out to me. I've got twcraftsman.com is my website, and all my contact information is on there. You can find me on LinkedIn or Instagram and Facebook as of about a month ago. So we're growing there to be more well known. So
Amazing.
Fantastic.
yeah.
All right, thank you. You guys hit up Trevor and TW Craftsmen. They're awesome. So check out their website, and we'll catch everybody at the next episode of the Trades Podcast.